County, the Honorable Fatuma Gedi. The then Speaker ruled that in assessing the admissibility and/or authenticity or otherwise of a document tabled in the House, the Speaker ought to examine whether the document, 1, relates to the matter for which it has been tabled, 2, is signed, and if it is a government document, by the authorized person or persons, 3, bears the emblem or logo of the institution or person from which it originated or coat of arms in the case of documents from government agencies, 4, clearly indicates the author and person to whom it is addressed, 5, discloses the origin or source of the document, 6, bears certification where a document other than the original is being tabled, 7, if electronic has been obtained from a source that does not permit alteration of content, and 8, is related to a claim made before the House or a committee or its content has a nexus with the claim. 9, is stamped and clearly indicates the person signing of the stamp. Honorable members, can the honorable members take their seats? Honorable members, a perusal of the document tabled by the Honorable Junaid Mohammed and the version conveyed by the Registrar of Political Parties reveals glaring inconsistencies in both documents. With regard to signatures, there is no uniformity in the manner in which the various pages of the documents have been signed off or initialed. Some pages in the documents contain fewer signatures than others, while page 3 of both documents in particular contains signatures that are hardly visible. The pagination of the two documents is also inconsistent. Order, honorable members. The pagination of the two documents is also inconsistent. Page 1 to 22 bear page numbers. Several pages with signatures bear no page numbers, and a paginated page appears randomly between unpaginated pages. I'm inclined to think that these are superimpositions. Honorable members, may I at this point bring to the attention of the House that several members say to belong to the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party have formally written to my office to denounce the association with the party. In a letter dated 9th September 2022 and received by my office on 22nd September 2022, the member for Ugenya constituency, the Honorable David Ocheng, wrote to convey the decision of his party, the Movement for Democracy and Growth, to terminate its membership with the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. In the letter, the Honorable Ocheng also noted that his party is now a member of Kenya Kwanza Coalition. Honorable members, in letters received by my office on 21st and 22nd September 2022, the Honorable Kenneth Charo, the Honorable Gonzi Rai, and the Honorable Anton Kenga, who were all elected to Parliament on the Pamoja African Alliance party ticket, formally distanced themselves and their party from any association with the Azimio coalition. The three categorically noted that their party should only be associated with the Kenya Kwanza coalition, with which it has entered into its only existing coalition agreement. Additionally, honorable members, in a letter dated 16 September 2022 and received by my office on 19 September 2022, all the 7 members of Parliament elected to the National Assembly under the United Democratic Movement UDM, namely the Honorable Major Retired Bashir Abdullahi, the Honorable Hassan Kulo, the Honorable Haro Abdul Ibrahim, the Honorable Mangale Chiforomodo, the Honorable Yusuf Aden Haji, the Honorable Joseph Lekuton, the Honorable Omulkhair Kasim, and the Honorable Suleha Harun again distance themselves and their party from any alleged coalition agreement with the Azimio coalition. Instead, they note in their letter that they are party to a post-election coalition agreement with the Kenya Kwanza coalition. It is their contention that their affiliation with the Kenya Kwanza coalition has seemingly been ignored by the Registrar of Political Parties. Honorable members, it will be recalled that during the debate on this matter on Tuesday this week, the Honorable Cheng, the Honorable Kasait Kamket, the Honorable Mwengi Mutuse, the Honorable Bashir Abdullahi, and the Honorable Kenneth Charo also did raise serious concerns as to the membership of the Movement for Democracy and Growth MDG, the Kenya African National Union KANU, the Maendeleo Chap Party MCCP, the United Democratic Movement UDM, and the Pamoja African Alliance Party in the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. At this stage, honorable members, the question that comes to my mind as your speaker is, what am I meant to do with these contentions? Honorable members, allegations were also made by a number of members on alleged coercion and duress while entering into agreements with one of the coalitions. This, all the honorable members, I have not finished what I'm saying. This, if true, is a serious affront to the democratic rights and freedoms that we enjoy as citizens of this country. As a seasoned lawmaker and a lawyer, I note that the political freedoms granted to Kenyans by the Bill of Rights must be taken very seriously in the affairs of political parties. If I were to rely on the coalition agreements tabled before this House, I would find great fault in any provision seeking to limit the political rights of members of this House. Honorable members, our Constitution is very rights-centric. In any ruling I make as your Speaker, I must be guided by the provisions of Article 3, Article 10, and Article 21 of the Constitution. These provisions require me to uphold, respect, and defend the Constitution whenever applying myself on any questions brought before me. I'm also under obligation to jealously protect the rights and freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution to all members of this House and indeed all Kenyans. You will note, honorable members, that even when making laws, all of you are enjoined under Article 24 of the Constitution to ensure that any limits you place on a right or freedom are expressly stated and that the limitation is reasonable and justifiable in an open and democratic society. Having looked at the drafting style of the Political Parties Act vis-a-vis the requirements of Article 24(2) of the Constitution, it is evident that the Political Parties Act does not manifest or declare any intent whatsoever to limit the rights guaranteed under Article 36 of the Constitution on the freedom of association and Article 38 of the Constitution on political rights. Honorable members, political rights are not absolute. They may be limited in a manner that is consistent with the provisions of Article 24 of the Constitution. Indeed, the Political Parties Act does not engage in the substantive limitations of rights, but only deals with procedural exercise of those rights in terms of timelines. Honorable members, indeed, the architecture of the Act is that timelines are only prescribed with respect to activities that fall before the election date, which seem to be related to the management of the election calendar. There are no timelines prescribed for activities after the election date. From the provisions of the Act, it appears that a person is at liberty to join and leave political parties as long as they notify the registrar of their actions. Honorable members, I'm not sure whether a provision of a coalition agreement regulating the period within which a member may exit a coalition would pass the test of being compliant with the Political Parties Act in the first instance, or the Constitution, or or the Constitution in the second instance. Fortunately, that is not for me to decide. I trust those who are aggrieved will find their way to courts of law in exercise of their powers under Article 165 of the Constitution. Honorable members, noting that some of the matters raised were said to be pending either in the political parties' disputes tribunal or the court, I shall refrain from pronouncing myself on such. Honorable members, let me now turn to the nexus between the letter from the Registrar of Political Parties and the several Gazette notices published by the IEBC with respect to your election or nomination as members of this House. Based on Gazette notices 9950 and 9951 of 2022, both dated 23rd August 2022, Gazette Notice 10535 of 2022, dated 5th September 2022, Gazette Notice number 10537 of 2022, dated 7th September 2022, and Gazette Notice number 10710 of 2022, dated 9th September 2022, the current composition of the National Assembly by individual political parties is as follows. United Democratic Alliance, UDA, 145. Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, 86. Jubilee Political Party, 28. Wiper Democratic Movement, 26. United Democratic Movement, 8. Amani National Congress, 8. Ford Kenya, 6. Kenya African National Union, KANU, 6. Democratic Alliance, part of Kenya, 5. Pamoja African Alliance, PA, 3. Kenya Union Party, 3. United Party of Independent Alliance, UPIA, 2. Maendeleo Chap, 2. The Service Party, TSP, 2. United Progressive Alliance Party, UPA, 1. National Alliance Party of Kenya, NAPK, 1. National Ordinary People Empowerment Union, NOPEU, 1. Grand Dream Development Party, 1. Democratic Party, DP, 1. Movement for Democracy and Growth, MDG, 1. Chama cha Mashinani, 1. Honorable members, reference to the letter by the Registrar of Political Parties will give the cumulative number of the members of the constituent parties of what the Registrar refers to as the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party as 171 members and against 165 members of the constituent parties of what the Registrar refers to as the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. However, it is notable that a total of 14 members are drawn from 4 parties, that is UDM, MDG, MCP, and PA, who, according to the letter of the Registrar, have filed constitutional petitions and objections against their membership in Azimio. This implies that the letter from the Registrar may not be used to compute the membership of the majority and minority parties by dint of the admission contained in it on the existing constitutional petitions and objections. Honorable members, it will also be recalled that the members of UDM